So we're going to start off by typing in UCAS in Google, and it's the first thing that comes up, ucas.com, and we're going to click on that. As you can see, it gives you the option of track, apply and track, or register with UCAS straight away. And this is what the main page looks like. As you can see, it's asking if you want to search for courses on the left, and what are my options, discover, apply, track, etc. But we're going to go to sign in or register. If you've already got an account with UCAS, usually your school will have an ID of some sort to help you with the UCAS process. So, you know, you can sign in straight away, or you'd have to register. So we're going to go into register first. On the right over here, we'll click on register first. So if you click on it, it gives you the option of undergraduate registration, teacher training, etc., etc. But we want the undergraduate registration. Right, so here it tells you about the registration process, and we're going to skip right down to this red button here, which says register and apply for 2017 entry. And if you already have a login, it's going to present you with this screen here, but we're going to pretend we don't have a login and go straight to register down here. And you can press on that, and it brings you to this screen. So we're going to press next here. You can actually use the website, and it gives you a lot of terms and conditions before you apply. You can just skip through this all. It tells you to essentially, I would advise skipping, getting this done while you've got time before you get under pressure of exams and things like that. Here again, simple details like title, gender, etc. As I already mentioned, this is something you have to get through until you get onto the main application process. So we won't go into this here. We'll go back to the UCAS website, and I will log in with my old login for tracking application and show you the different sections to it. So UCAS obviously has your personal details because they feed it straight to the universities. So they want to know where you live, how old you are, what schooling, etc. Obviously male, female, the very important details about yourself. So I'm going to sign in here. You can actually go straight to the track button here as well, but you know I prefer going down this route. So I don't want to sign in and apply for 2017 entry, but once you've registered, every time you want to go back, sign in before you finally submit your form, every time you want to render or alter anything in your application, you will sign in via this route and obviously log in as we saw earlier. But I want to track my application, so this is where I would go. So I've got a personal ID. I won't show you guys that. Now it's telling me welcome back, telling me my name, etc. Now, this tells me just my choices, my rejections, etc. This is what you will be looking at after you've submitted it. And it will present you your 5 choices, where you've got an offer from, which university has rejected you. So as you can see for me, Queen Mary's and Leicester rejected me. I withdrew my choice from Manchester. They did give me an offer. Anyhow, we won't go into that. We'll look at that in terms of next steps. So I want to track my actual application. I want to have a look at my actual application and give you guys an insight. So here it tells you all the different places that you've gone to school or done your A-levels at. So this was my 6th form. You would enter your details for your actual school here. And then these are all your qualifications, as you can see, qualification 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, ideally, what I would say is put them in the order that you want them to be seen. Generally, I would say, these are all in order of, well, I haven't really put it in any particular order. I don't remember having put them in any order. But what you do usually is you put each particular exam and what grade you got for it. So here it tells you that I did a foundation chemistry. and I got, and this was the title, and essentially this was for A2. It gives you the module details and the grade, etc. The grade hasn't been upgraded over here, probably because these were the final, entries that I had. And UCAS usually self-loads itself, and your university finds out straight away what you got for your A levels. So you don't need to, your final A2 exams, they don't get uploaded onto here. But I got AAA, so I didn't really need to upload all these details on there. So this is qualification 5. This was my UCAS. Remember, your UCAS score also goes on here. Now I got 2800, so that was an average of 700. This year it will be different. I think you probably get a bigger score, and it gets divided into further sections because there's more than 4 sections. There are in fact 5 sections this year. We've already covered that in our UCAS. So these are all my qualifications. Remember, you also put your actual GCSEs in here, and I put all my GCSEs in here. Usually you'd put your A-level scores above and then your GCSEs further down below. Now, if you notice, I have in fact entered an extra qualification here. Now, I would highly recommend putting any other qualifications, whether you did a makeup training course, food and hygiene. I did a food and hygiene course for, an independent body. I would say put it down there. Even if you passed your driving test, put it down there, because that's a qualification. It's an official qualification. And, you can always, if they ever ask you about it at your interviews, you can always talk about it, the skills that you learned. For example, driving, it's a skill of observation. It's a skill of fine motor skills, as well as your, loads of different other skills, really, multitasking, etc. You can say so much about any course you've ever done, and you've bound to have learned some transferable skills from all of them. So put any type of qualification in this segment, and there will be a segment which will be completely dedicated to qualifications only when you're applying. Now, this tells you about your employment details. Any kind of employment you can ever remember, put that down. And now I put my own company, which I started, and I put that as business owner. Because, it was still a job. I still got paid for this, even though it wasn't, it wasn't standard job. It's still something you started. So if you've got any kind of a startup, any business you do on the side, any sort of small work you do on the side, put that down there. Employment too, I put some work experience I did with my dad, essentially. At this point, I hadn't done anything else. I did, in fact, go on to do some more side jobs here and there. But yes, this is where you'd put any kind of jobs that you have done. Any jobs, if they were paid, they ought to be gone in here. It says part-time, full-time. I think that you have an option of voluntary work as well. And this is my personal statement. We will not go into this. This will be a separate video. But remember, here it says once you've submitted it, usually tells you if they've found any similarities. There is no similarities here. But you can actually look for other websites online to look for similarities with your work compared to with others. And this is the reference from my head of sixth form. Now, this is a very important segment. Don't get your reference from anybody. Get it from someone who thinks highly of you, someone with credentials. So this was my head of sixth form. He had credentials. He was a person of position, essentially. And I basically sat down with him, and I made sure that you have to make sure that you have a really good rapport with your referee, because they're going to be the ones that write the things that you kind of didn't have space for in your your personal statement, or anywhere where you want to be said about you, anything you want your referee to say about you. In order for that to happen, you need to have a very good relationship with your referee. So I highly advise having a good little sit down with your referee and having a little write down session. Even though they're supposed to be writing anonymously, well, they're not really supposed to disclose what they're writing about you, but it really helps to have that rapport with your, with your head of sixth form, to sit down and plan what you want to be written about you, especially if they're supposed to be on your side, and they are supposed to be on your side. So get them on your side and do that. And that's essentially my UCAS application. Now, it also has my details on there. Now, I won't click on that. That will pop up any of my personal details. But, you apply, this is what you want to be putting in your UCAS application. Best of luck, guys. I hope you get a really good application put through. Your personal statement, UCAS, use all of that to your advantage. And best of luck. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Press that bell icon to stay tuned to this series that we're putting together. Thank you very much, guys. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.